So once again, happy Friday, everybody. Let's get started like we normally do. Everybody in here has done this before, so short period of bell meditation. Go ahead and get into a nice meditation posture. We'll begin at the sound of the bell. I go for refuge to the Buddha, the teacher. I go for refuge to the Dharma, the teaching. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the taught. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I have taken refuge in the Buddha. I have taken refuge in the Dharma. I have taken refuge in the Sangha. 3 pure precepts. Cease to do harm. Do only good. Do good for others. Bodhisattva vow. However innumerable all beings are, I vow to lead them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Swaha. So today, we're going to talk about form and emptiness, but we're going to do it hopefully from a direction that will open this idea up to you a little more. The Buddhist philosophical ideal that form is no other than emptiness and emptiness is no other than form, this is found most famously, this is where a lot of people first encounter it, is in the Heart Sutra. And it can be really difficult to wrap the mind around. It's kind of confusing, form and emptiness, and Buddhism says, well, they're the same thing, or they happen simultaneously. But emptiness is, well, it's just empty. And then form, it has substance, so how can they have the same properties at the same time? That's the question. So there is a contemporary thought experiment that can bring about a clearer understanding of form and emptiness. Probably already figured out which one it is because of the visual aid. Well, in Buddhist philosophy, everything, and I mean everything, all the Dharma is causally conditioned. It becomes what it is in a particular moment because of the results of the causal process of the universe. All these different things happening makes other things happen. Now, this would not be possible if all Dharma had inherent or permanent form. You know, if there was any permanence at all, which as Buddhists, we don't accept that, right? We accept impermanence. Well, Nagarjuna, who was a Mahayana scholar and teacher and all that, in the, and I'm going to butcher this name here, it's the Mula Madhyama Kakarika text, maintained this, quote, "Since there is no Dharma whatever which is not causally conditioned, no Dharma whatever exists which is not empty." And when he said not causally conditioned, he was talking about not relative to whatever experience or situation it finds itself connected with. So, since there's no Dharma that's not causally conditioned, meaning all Dharma is causally conditioned, then all Dharma also has emptiness. So again, it has form and emptiness. Phenomena have no form until they're acted upon physically and or mentally, we got to put the mind in there too, by another phenomenon, whether it's a human being or some other phenomenon that affects it. Until the moment of interaction, it has only what I like to look at as potential, or others would just say emptiness. I like to look at it as potential. We can fill that emptiness. Causal conditioning, the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how of the causal process enacts the transformation from emptiness to form. For Westerners caught up in concrete definitions, and you know we do like our concrete definitions, and we do also like our concrete descriptions, right? We want it to be easily to understand. It isn't an easy concept, this form and emptiness, but one that can be engaged if we use a little skillful redescription. So we're going to look to a contemporary science model for a little help with that. In 1935, Erwin Schrödinger was looking for a way to describe the difficult language of quantum mechanics, kind of like some of the difficult language of Buddhism. And in particular, what he was trying to get people to understand is how particles like atoms can be in two or more different quantum states simultaneously. So he's trying to figure out a way to do that. So his thought experiment began with putting a cat in a box. And the box had no openings. You couldn't see in it, nothing, right? And inside the box, he put a radioactive atom that was connected to a vial of deadly poison. In fact, let me swing around here, because I've got a visual here. So this is kind of the idea of the box. Now, once the box is closed, there was no way to know if the atom would decay, causing the vial to shatter, the poison to be released, and the cat to be killed. Or the atom hasn't decayed, and the cat is just lounging around in the box. Schrödinger postulated that because the atom, the cat, and the vial could not be seen, then the atom could be viewed as being in both a decayed and non-decayed state at the same time. I kind of look at it as a metaphysical thing. It's the I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the box. Now the cat, because it couldn't be seen, would be both dead and alive at the same time. Again, don't know. So without observation, then, these physical objects would be in two diametrically opposed conditions in the same moment. The choice between dead or alive, well, it was empty of meaning until the box was looked into. Emptiness and form are diametrically opposed conditions, yet in Buddhist philosophy, they're the same. To apply Schrodinger's thought experiment to the Buddhist philosophical ideal of emptiness and form first requires the understanding that observation, the act of seeing or looking, is an experiential act, right? It can lead us to experiential verification. And we can experientially verify this concept of emptiness and form. And we can do it by this idea of Schrodinger's cat, alive and dead at the same time. The atom breaking the vial or not breaking the vial. So we can see it as happening at the same time. And I got two other examples that we can use. I'm sure you've heard of this. When a tree falls in the forest, does anyone hear it? That's all about form and emptiness. If somebody's there to hear it, it's form. If there's nobody there to hear it, then it's emptiness. But it's both at the same time when that tree falls. Could be somebody there, maybe not. Another good example is a Christmas gift. When somebody hands you a Christmas gift, all nicely wrapped with its little bows on it and all that, you got this box in your hand, that's form and emptiness. Because you're empty of the knowledge of what's in the box until you open it up. So for all you know, the box could be empty, or it could be full of something that you want. You don't know until you open the box and you experientially verify or you observe what's in the box. So there is no way for human beings to know the future. And I know some people say they can, but this is all speculation, whether scientific or metaphysical methods are engaged in. So each moment can be viewed as in a box until you enter into that moment. There is a tendency for people to believe they know what is in the box before it is opened. In other words, I already know what's going to happen. And this is known as fondling the future. Oh yeah, I don't need to do that or go there, because I know what's going to happen. It is a thought experiment without the possibility of experiencing it. Right? So that's emptiness until the future happens, and then that's form. So fondling the future is another way of playing around with form and emptiness. Because then that future is empty and the present moment is form. So we're constantly moving toward emptiness. And with each movement, there's form. Then we're going to try a different thought experiment. I'm going back to my buddy Wade here. Wade, he's been called into a meeting with his boss and a representative of human resources. And he can't think of anything he's done wrong, but that doesn't ease his anxiety at all. Wade is certain he knows what will happen. He just knows what's going to happen. Other employees have had the same situation, and they've come out of the office, cleaned out their desks, and left the building. Now at 2 p.m., Wade enters the office. We'll call that the box. Sitting at the conference table is his boss. We're going to call him the atom. And the human resources person is there. We're going to call them the poison. And Wade, he's the cat, takes a seat. Office door is closed. Wade has prepared himself for the worst. An hour later, he comes out of the meeting with a promotion and a raise. While Wade imagined what was going to happen in the office, it was in reality empty of form until he experienced it. So our thinking too can be form and emptiness. Because he could equally have imagined getting a promotion and a raise rather than imagining that he was going to get fired. Because all that fondling the future was just empty until he actually went in there, the door shut, and there was that experiential verification or that observation of what would really happen. So the Dharma is the realities of life. It is just what is. What we don't know what is, we don't know what is until we experience the emptiness of any situation, until we bring it to form. Experiencing the actual form that situation is going to take. Buddhist practice further teaches us that once form is experienced, it will not take the exact form again. It will be empty again. Even as we experience the form of any Dharma, there is another person who is experiencing the emptiness of that very same Dharma. So, form and emptiness. It's the idea that everything is undergoing transformation all the time. So, you're always in some way empty, waiting for that next thing to happen, but you also have form in the moment that things are happening. And as Diz says, another example is we can't see what's in back of us until we turn around. And that is so true. There's another really bold example of form and emptiness, and that's right here where we are. This, sitting here in Second Life, right, at the Buddhist Center, and we're looking at a computer screen. I look at this as a really great contemporary example of form and emptiness. We see form, but we also see emptiness on the screen. Because we know that there's stuff going on all around us here in Second Life, but it's kind of empty because we don't know. We're not observing it. But what we're observing has some sort of form, even if it's just light coming out of a screen. So again, an excellent example of form and emptiness right here with us. Now, I put these two up here because I think it's a very humorous way of viewing form and emptiness. Schrodinger's cat walks into a bar and doesn't. We don't know, right? Until it actually happens and we observe it, we don't know. The cat either walked in there or didn't. And then this one. So you see this is RSPCA. He's at Dr. Schrodinger's door and he says, and you're quite sure it's just a hypothetical cat. So these are all great explanations or great humorous ways of looking at form and emptiness.